bam, guess what? It's news at 10 past 8. It's Thursday, and it's time to have a look at the news, and what a week it's been so far. Yeah, I mean, just when you think Trump can't be more Trumpy, Trump becomes more Trumpy. It's moderately terrifying how Trumpy Trump has become. Oh, I'm live on YouTube. Who knew? Well, you, if you're watching, and not if you're not. Anyway, yeah, hope you're well. Hope you've had a good week. Hope everything is going in the right direction. Hello, Angela. Hope you're good. Hi, T. And we are about to embark on the news of the week. And one main story this week, although it was literally in the last 24 hours, and that is a certain Mr. Donald Trumpius of Trumpy Town. And he has basically done what he said he was going to do. I mean, I don't like the guy particularly, but at least he does what he said he's going to do. He's done what he said he would do, and what he's done is stuff that he said he would do. But the stuff he's doing is bonkers, and I don't think necessarily is going to work. So we will. Oh, I've lost my pen. I've lost my pen. Where's my pen gone? Where's my penguin? Where's my penguin? Don't know where the penguin is. Anyway, let's have a look, shall we? So, it's just madness, this. Tuesday, the 1st of April. I thought it was an April Fool's Day. And I wrote, tomorrow we'll see Trump's tariffs in full, possibly implemented right away. And we weren't wrong about that. They were implemented pretty much midnight America time. So that pretty much was right away in the scheme of things. There's the pen. That's what I was looking for. So we'll cross that off. I've done that. So Trump says yesterday, this is one of the most important days, in his opinion, in American history, as he delivered the tariffs on the world. The base UK rate of tariff is 10%, the EU is 20%, which is a good thing. I mean, it's a bad thing there's any tariffs whatsoever on everything, but it's half what the EU is, so if we were still in the EU, we'd have 20% tariffs, not 10% tariffs. It doesn't actually change the fact that all the cars have got 25%, no matter where they're from, including the UK as well. 34% in China, and he called it Americans' Liberation Day. We cannot pay deficits of other countries. We are going to take care of our own people first. I wish our government did the same thing. And I said there, I agree with the tariffs on China goods. They have snuck under the radar for decades, and this is something that China did. China was an enemy of everyone. Everyone hated China. And they stopped being an enemy of everyone. They said, well, you know, we've got all these people here living in this country. What we can do is we can sort out the manufacture of stuff for you. We can do it cheaper. And a lot of American and, well, just companies in general are very greedy. And they went, wow, we can get the same goods, but at less price, and without the risk of employing people, etc., etc., etc. So they did it, and over decades, China's just ended up taking over production of everything in the entire world. And I've been saying this for a while, and now all of a sudden, China's all like, yeah, well, we're not going to do that anymore now, so we're going to do this, that, and the other. And Trump's actually thought, no, we've had enough of this, and he wants to do what he wants to do. So fingers crossed, things might get better. Who am I kidding? One thing that I did do was I took the liberty of that thing there. You can't really see it. Oops, I'm live on YouTube apparently. Who knew? Oh yes, you lot. So what I did was I took a picture of it up close. So China put a 67% tariff on anything from America going to China. So America's put 34%. The European Union charged 39% on stuff coming from America. He's given them 20. Vietnam have come from nowhere in my opinion. They make all the Funko Pops and a lot of other plastic figurines and dolls and action figures and that kind of thing. They slam 90% on USA imports. Of course, that's probably got something to do with the Vietnam War. And their reciprocal is 46%. Then you've got Taiwan, who are part of the China redevelopment of infrastructure and everything. They've got 64% tariffs on the US, and now it's 32. Japan 46, and they've got 24 coming back at them. India 52.26, South Korea 50.25, Thailand do 72 on America, so they're doing 36. Switzerland 61.31, Indonesia 64.32, Malaysia 47.24, Cambodia 97.49, UK 10.10, only one that's the same. South Africa 60.30, Brazil 10.10, Bangladesh 74.37, Singapore 10.10, Israel 33.17. So even Israel has got higher tariffs than what we've got in the UK, which I wasn't expecting. Philippines 34.17, Chile 10.10, Australia 10.10, Pakistan is 58.29, Turkey 10.10, Sri Lanka 88%, so he's put 44 on them, and Colombia 10.10. So we are in definitely the lower bracket. But is it going to work? Well, today, Thursday the 3rd of April, Canada retaliates with tariffs on the USA, and the US stock market plunges. Trump says the country's going to boom, businesses are going to boom, share prices are going to boom, everything's going to boom, and all he seems to have done is put a bomb in it that's just kind of gone boom and destroyed everything. But he could be right in the long run. Keir Starmer said this is the beginning of a new era, while the UK draws up a 400-page list of items that could have tariffs put on them as well, but they're going to play it cool. Macron of France says there will be an EU response which is going to be organised, unified, in a unified manner, and it's going to be a lot more massive than before. So I don't understand quite what the massive than before bit is. But anyway, we'll have to wait. I think Trump is saying, why do we use Chinese parts when we have our own part that could be used original? Yeah, but no, that's what happened. I mean, you remember Silicon Valley in the 80s and 90s? Well, that's pretty much gone now, because all the technology is being manufactured in China because they were doing it cheaper, because China snuck in under the radar. Yeah, that's what happened. But will it work out for Trump? God, I hope not. Anyway, shall we move on? I mean, there's another top story as well this week, which is pretty awful, particularly when you look at some of the things that we've seen going on in the area. There was a huge earthquake on Friday the 28th of March in Mandalay in Myanmar. Many dead and buildings collapsed hundreds of miles away, including, and the bizarre thing, we've all seen the video of this, so I'm not going to show it again, but it's a multi-storey building, a very tall skyscraper that's under construction, that just literally just collapses like a pack of cards. And you look at the rubble now, and it literally is floor stacked on floor, just going straight down. And there were quite a lot of people working on it because, well, it's being built. And God knows how many people have died. The problem is, in Myanmar, which is a country run by military junta, they're not very good at giving out actual figures or even allowing people to go in. But they did say, it was a 7.7 magnitude quake, that they did say that they were going to let some people in to help with the rescues and recoveries. Sadly now I think it's just recoveries. Meanwhile, Vance visits Greenland, saying Denmark is not doing a good job. And he reckons that guns are not needed, as people will choose to align with the USA. Has he met any Greenland people? Well, no, because he ended up just going to a base in Greenland rather than doing a tour. And he wasn't wearing a suit, which I thought was very disrespectful. He was just wearing some kind of t-shirty type thing. And Trump says he wants Greenland because it's a matter of global security. It's also got a lot of wealth in the land there as well, hasn't it? What's going on? WH Smith's, the name is going to be disappear off the high streets. A lot of towns have already lost their WH Smiths, but in like railway stations and places like that, it's going to be rebranded as TJ Jones, which makes no sense. No one's ever heard of TJ Jones. So yeah, you're buying the company and then rebranding it. What's the point of buying a company with a name like WH Smith's and then just completely rebranding it? A bit like Kalina have done when they bought a couple of haulage companies in the UK, including Eddie Stobart. Completely, they must have paid through the nose for Eddie Stobart's name and then obliterated it. Makes no sense. Birmingham is a shithole that stinks. Oh, that's due to the ongoing refuse strike. Actually quite like Birmingham. I worked there for a while. It was actually quite nice. Saturday the 29th. Rescuers still working on the rubble after yesterday's quake. Over 1,600 people confirmed dead so far. And that tower block was 800 miles away. Or no, I think it was 400 miles, 700, 800 kilometres away from the actual epicentre. But horrendous, absolutely horrendous. I mean, we moan about our weather and stuff that goes on in the UK, but it's nothing compared to this. Prince Harry's accused of harassment and bullying from this charity as he resigns from it. The charity he resigned on from last week, the charity that was set up in honour of his late mother, Princess Diana. Sunday the 30th, British summertime begins. The clocks went forward, so we got an hour less in bed. Don't worry about that. I'm head up for it on Tuesday when I didn't get up until 20 to 10. So I got my hour extra back. I got it back. So Sunday the 30th, the death toll rises to 1.7 K in the earthquake. But hundreds, thousands are still missing. Plus many parts of Myanmar are not very well, particularly more so now, connected. So God knows how many people have sadly been killed in small villages around the country. Will we ever find out the real number? I pretty much doubt it. I mean, even the people who are living there probably just want to find their loved ones and give them a decent burial, and rather than just counting numbers and things. But the Myanmar military government are still bombing the area that was hit by the earthquake quite heavily because it's rebel run, which seems, you're the people who are trying to control this country, you're the people trying to get people on side. The rebels are in an area that's devastated, monumentally devastated by an earthquake, so you keep bombing there. I mean, you're certainly going to win the locals over with that, aren't you? Downing Street says Trump and Starmer have agreed during productive discussions over trade deal. Both are taking collective pressure on Putin, and Trump said in an interview he's very angry over Putin, even pissed off. He said on one of the news channels, American president swearing. Me, you wouldn't get me in swearing under those circumstances. Jesus in Christ. So yeah, what I worry about is Starmer, because he's likes giving away stuff, doesn't he? That's British, like Chagos Islands, for example, like hotels to people that are not British, money that's British to people who are not British. Yeah, he loves doing all that kind of thing. So is he going to give the British farming industry to America, i.e. kill it off completely? He's already started doing that with the stupid inheritance tax that he's come up with. Or and are we going to have chlorinated chicken? I mean, it's bad enough we've got halal chicken pretty much everywhere now, but we'll have chlorinated halal chicken. What's that about? Will that put more farmers out of business? The whole thing just stinks to high heaven. And chlorinated chicken, yeah, that stinks. Richard Chamberlain has died, aged 90, famous for being a doctor, Dr. Kildare, which I always thought was a stupid name, really, because, you're lying there on your deathbed, and the doctor comes up and goes, "Hi, I'm Dr. Dare." And you're like, "You're going to kill me?" "No, please." But anyway, he was a very famous actor. Monday the 31st of March. Leader of the French Parliament is banned from public... Oh no, sorry. Leader of the French far right is banned from public office. And everyone thinks this is political ends. The far right did very well in the general elections, but they do two general elections. They do one on a Sunday and then one the Sunday after if you don't like the results, which is nice. And basically won the first election, and then everyone panicked and went out and voted them down to third place. And the far right did very well in Germany. We're still waiting for the coalition government to be formed and see what happens there. Birmingham City Council declare major incident over the bin strikes, mainly because there's thousands of tonnes of rubbish literally rotting in the streets. Not just the city centre streets, but also obviously streets where people live. And some of the housing there is very old. You've got blocks of flats that have got hundreds of people living there and they've only got small bins. They're overflowing as well, so it's pretty disgusting what's going on in Birmingham at the moment. Number 10, admit we will get tariffs from the US on cars worldwide, 25%. The death toll rises after the earthquake to 2,000, but fears are, as I said earlier, that it's going to be much, much higher. Keir Starmer talks about Netflix Adolescence TV show, which I've not watched, mainly because I'm not paying for Netflix, and plus I don't want to watch it necessarily. It's not my kind of thing. Well, it's meant to be very good from the way it's filmed, and also the young lad in it, Owen. I don't know if it's his surname or his first name, but he's never acted before, and apparently he was brilliant in it, and he could be a star to watch out for the future, or not. We never know. But it does make me fear that this is going the way of the ITV post office drama, which is where we've got a major issue, which was obviously the post office issue with the computer system that they had, and this is obviously knife crime, and as we'll discuss later on, it's interesting that they chose a white boy as the perpetrator of the knife crime, whereas we kind of know, sadly, that it's usually non-whites that are involved or victims or perpetrators of the majority of knife crime in the UK. That's just a fact. I'm not being racist, that's just a fact. I remember a couple of years ago there was a deputy police commissioner of the Metropolitan Police or London Police or whatever, and he was being questioned why there's more black youth stopped and searched in London than white youth, and he says, well, the reason for that is for their own safety. They are more likely to be carrying a knife if they are black, and they're more likely to become victims of knife crime if they are black. That is just the way it is. We do stop white kids as well, but the black ones, we're trying to save them from themselves. But anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. Can Trump run again? There are rumours he's thinking about it, though he has done the maximum 2 terms. Admitted not together, but still, in America you can't be president more than for 2 terms, which is the 4 or 5 years, whatever it is over there. After that you're exempt. But as I said, when the election came on, it seemed like he was building up a dynasty. So what's he going to do? Is he going to do with Putin? Is he going to not be president, but have J.D. Vance as president, but then pulling the strings behind, which is what he did in Russia, Putin that is, not Trump, when he couldn't be president anymore because he'd done it for too long in a row. So he had a term where he got one of his mates to be president and he was the Prime Minister, but he basically still ran everything. And then after that he became president again because he'd done a term where he wasn't president. All seems perfectly legal and above board. The problem is, in 4 or 5 years' time, Trump's going to be older than Biden is now. So would he really want to run again when he's been slagging off Biden for being too old? Or would he put a younger person in? Maybe it's one of his sons. It looks like he's trying to get his Baron Trump, his youngest son, kind of lined up and in the public eye as well. So yeah, it's like a Kennedy dynasty wannabe, and that worries me considerably. Meanwhile, 1st of April, no April Fool's here. Bills are going up. Council tax, water, energy, broadband, car tax, and more. The government say wage rise will pay for it. Yeah, right. Man shot dead outside Milton Keynes railway station, allegedly had a gun. And rebels finally the rebels hold a ceasefire in Myanmar. 2,700 are confirmed dead, though it's feared a lot more. The junta carrying on the airstrikes on Tuesday. Wednesday, the 2nd of April. Recovery work for the bodies continues in Mandalay and Myanmar. The junta agree a ceasefire eventually. Will we ever know how many died? Sadly not. And as the Calderdale Top Cat mentioned, Val Kilmer passed away, aged 65, famous for such movies as Top Gun, Batman, and many, many other films. He had throat cancer or something, and he recovered from that, but sadly passed away from double pneumonia. Thursday the 3rd, which is today. The man shot in Milton Keynes ran at speed with a knife, didn't have a gun, towards the police, and he was shot dead, and his name is David Joyce. And the minister, one of the ministers from this fabulous government we've got, visits Birmingham and says the bin strike must end. I was going to say no shit Sherlock, the problem is there's too much shit. So yeah, that doesn't work. Anyway, don't forget, you can join in the chat at any point if you want to. You can agree, disagree, you can like, share, you can do whatever you want. It's up to you. So, what's going on in the news that makes me go, ha ha? One thing that did go on, which surprised me, and this is kind of a different thing altogether, but yeah, it was what went on in the Wigan Pier for Wigan people. If you've watched the Wigan Watch, you watched the end of it, you'll see what I found when I went to Wigan Pier. Basically, the fence was open. There were a couple of kids I'd seen when I was on the other side of the canal in the general area, what was the cordoned off area. By the time I got round there and got in there, they'd gone. But what I found was shocking, and I mean really, really, really horribly shocking. I don't think this is going to work, but we'll give it a go anyway. Oh, I need to get rid of that. No, I get rid of that. Click on that. No, click on that. Go to properties. But say you'll have seen this if you've watched my Wigan Watch. Oops, is that it? No, it's news. What? That's the wrong one. That's the one. Wigan Watch. Oh no, it's gone. I've deleted them. No. Damn. Right, I've got one here. I might have one here. I've got one here. Yeah, I have got one here. There you go. No, it's not. That's not it. That's not it. That's the speed camera. That's not it. That's the thing. That's it. Right. So this is the allegedly 90% Wigan Pier completed. So local news for local people. So this is allegedly 90% completed, and this is where I can't remember what this is. I think it's where the classes used to be or something. But yeah, to me that doesn't look 90% completed by any stretch of the imagination, and it does worry me that it's going to be left for a while. Although the council promised that someone will come along and fix it, but who's going to go in there and get their name and everything on something that is so literally incomplete? It kind of doesn't make sense that they're going to do that. So I am worried that we are going to end up with something that is, well, unusable. Anyway, put that back where it was. We'll crack on with the photo news. So this is news that makes me go or so yeah, it's the silly news. We like silly news. Silly news is good news. There's so much crap going on in the world. It's nice to have a lighter thing. I wanted to dress up my nephew as a zombie, but he ended up looking like a tired accountant, which you can't argue with. Meanwhile, in Australia, they went on about the man who stole 325 cream eggs is banned from the entire county for 3 months. And this was in England. They call it the Brit spot. Meanwhile, again, this is probably the most serious story of this section. The ex-police officer is spared jail over the taser death of a 95-year-old woman. If you've not been watching these programmes, or this, whatever it is, it's not even a programme, is it? Whatever this stream is, a podcast, you'd be aware, well, you might not be aware, but back in the day, it was last year or the year before even, this 95-year-old woman, Claire Noland, had, 2 years ago it says there, had a knife in the day room and was threatening people with a knife. Now she's a 95-year-old woman with a knife, and she's threatening people, but by threatening people I mean stood near a table. So the police get called, they come in, and what I would have done is just let her get tired and put the knife down, because she wasn't going anywhere. But what this guy did, this police officer, was he tasered her, and she died. She was 95-year-old, he tasered a 95-year-old. He was found guilty of manslaughter over the incident before New South Wales Supreme Court handed down his sentence of a 2-year community corrections order. So basically, he's got to work for 2 years correcting, well, he needs to teach the police how to, it's just ridiculous. I mean, two-tier justice we're going about in the UK. Australia, yeah, that guy should have been sent down. There's absolutely no way a 95-year-old woman under any circumstances should be tasered. I mean, at the very least, he could have walked up to her and just took the knife off her. She's 95-year-old. It was a 17-year-old, yeah, okay, fair enough. It was a 15-year-old, like I said, but 95 years old. Jesus. Anyway, let's get back to the silly stuff, shall we? You had one job, see if you can spot the error. I mean, it's brilliant. Obviously, when COVID was on, and people had to go up downstairs, I mean, I don't understand why you had to do left and right anyway, but yeah, you follow the arrow on the left, right round the balcony bit, and oh, hang on a minute, you're going to end up go back in on yourself, and then you're going to have to go back in, you'd just be going forever. Meanwhile, you couldn't actually get to the stairs if you're on the inside line. Brilliant. We've got to love workmen who do stuff like that. We don't. This is M&S Cafe, and the rooftop terrace cafe is located on the top floor. No shit, Sherlock. Thank God they told us that, eh? Have you ever wondered how Donald Trump gets his lovely orange complexion? Well, this meme has been produced, and it's basically J.D. Vance using a blusher, I know what it's called, from a packet of Cheetos, which is the American snack that whenever you eat it, turns your fingers bright orange. So he's using that to coat Donald Trump's face. We have politicians in the UK as well, which is are amazing. Diane Abbott does it again. She's in a Subway, the sandwich restaurant, and she says, "Been waiting here for hours, still no train." No, Diane, you've got it wrong. We saw this a couple of weeks ago. All animals want to live. So someone said, "Where do you draw the line?" And someone's put it, well, after the horse, before the chicken. Because that's what you do. I mean, I've eaten rabbit as well, to be fair. When I was younger, my mum used to do rabbit stews. It was quite tasty. Well, the problem was, it was the bloody bones. Rabbits are very bony. There's a lot of bones in a rabbit. And that we didn't go out shooting the rabbits, just clarify that you could actually buy rabbits from a shop, a butcher's, that had been shot on the... No, I'm joking. I bought a car today and the dealership had me check off, with a pen on paper, that I'm not a robot. Oh, always gets me that. It's like that one where they do, you know, please, check off any of the squares that have got a car in it. And you're like, is like a little tip of the car's wing mirror, is that classed as part of the car? or is that not classed as part of the car? But it's only like, there's only like a millimetre in this box, so you've got to click, and you end up having a debate with yourself whether you click the box or not. Well, yeah, and this one you actually had to tick on a piece of paper with a pen that you're not a robot. I was born a female, I identify as female, but according to Tesco Sticky Toffee Pudding, I'm a family of 4. We've all been there. It's not the female bit, but certainly being identified by food as a family of 4. For example, if you have a Dr Pepper bottle or a Coke bottle or whatever, the little ones, you basically have 2 portions, so technically you're 2 people. Who knew? How do you explain to a heron that he's been watching a trampoline all day? There's a lovely photograph of a heron in a very snow-covered area looking at a trampoline. You can tell it's a trampoline because it's got a little cross in the middle, but sadly herons don't understand that. Wonder why the fish weren't coming up. Bad day. 24-year-old breaks into a 72-year-old man home, not knowing he was a former Marine, boxer and hand-to-hand combat instructor, and basically gets his face bashed in, which is perfect. Oh, there you go. What's going on here? Yeah, absolutely agreed. Just had a comment saying, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that with the capture things, when you have to figure out where it is. Any chance the admins can turn off the ability to post anonymously? It seems that the function is only used by those who leave a bad review. The irony was, and I've capped it too much, that the person posting that was posting anonymously. You know, me and Formula 1. Yuki Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, you only raced twice. Basically, they've had to swap cars because, well, Liam Lawson was put in a car far too inexperienced to be in a big Red Bull car rather than the second team. Yuki Tsunoda was left in the second team even though he's experienced. Anyway, they've sorted it out now, and hopefully Yuki will get some really good results. He deserves it. I think Yuki's brilliant. I just love him, and he's just a fantastic guy. Very funny, and loves his food, which is a bit silly if you're a Formula 1 driver because you need to keep weight down. Now, if you remember, last week or the week before, we were looking at the areas that had the largest sized sex toys, and it inspired me to buy for a friend a toy because I remembered it was their birthday, and this is it being delivered. So yeah, we are in Wigan, and you've got to admit that we like them big apparently. Why does Keir Starmer look like he's just been announced as the new owner of the Queen Vic in EastEnders? He does. Every time you see him, he does look like some kind of crap actor. Oh, there you go. Oh, the Dust James Bond DVDs. Yeah, that was. You Only Dust Twice was my favourite. Yeah, we. In case you don't know, we got a load of DVDs in there, all James Bond DVDs, and they're all covered in like 4 inches of dust. So I did a little video on it on YouTube and on TikTok as well, I think it was, and maybe on Snapchat, I can't remember. And it was basically just replacing one of the words in the title with dust. So we had dust finger, the dust is not enough, gold dust, various other ones, but my favourite was You Only Dust Twice. Oh, Live and Let Dust as well, that was a good one, I quite like that one. Just made it as I went along, it was hilarious. Well, yeah. Lots of holes. Black hole in space, a sinkhole, which sadly took a guy's life recently. Pothole, which sadly rips cars apart, and an arsehole who's ripping the country apart. Yes, it's Keir Starmer. Oh, God. You gotta love the guy. Now, again, remember the other week, there was a picture of, I think it was Brighton Football Club, and there was a seagull flying past the massive logo of the Seagulls, which is the Brighton Football Club. The logo is a seagull, and I said it's not even remotely close. The only thing it's doing is facing the right direction. The wings are all at the wrong angle, the head's at the wrong angle, and everything else. How did Keir Starmer get to be Sir Keir? He got to be Sir Keir because of the work he did with the Crime Prosecution Service, the CPS, when he was in charge of that, because he come up with all these great ideas apparently. So they made him a Knight of the Realm. Yeah. Sad thing was, he let any charges coming across for Jimmy Savile, for what was he called, Mohammed Al Fayed, and various other paedophiles. He didn't let them come through. He kind of said there wasn't enough evidence for them. But anyway, he's a great guy. Now he's a Sir, and he's now the King of the World. Well, he's the Prime Minister of the UK for now. Anyway, back to the seagull. And I said the seagull is a bit naff. It's not a very good picture at all. I'm sure he could have waited a bit longer, or if he did multi-shots, he probably would have got the wings in the right place. Anyway, this is spot on. This is a seagull and a seagull, and the seagull has nailed it. It's exactly the same. The camera person's nailed it as well, and it's basically a seagull that's crossed out with a seagull stood on it doing exactly the same pose. So yeah, well done. I don't know how you cross out seagulls and how you stop them going somewhere, because I don't think they read signs. It's just like chips. It's never explicitly explained how the Brady Bunch had access to Zoom in the 1970s. Never even thought of that before, but it is spot on. That is Zoom, isn't it? And if I remember rightly, this was the opening title sequences, and they all kind of looked and smiled at each other. And yeah, and the bottom right was basically me at the time. Young lad there with the grey shirt, green shirt on. Be about my age when that was out. So it is as old as I am now, old fart. A man threatened to sue a magazine for using his photo in a story about all hipsters looking the same, only to learn it was not him in the picture. Remember when hipsters was a thing and they all wore the same shirts? They all had their horrendous beards that were just covered in lice and food, and they stunk to high heaven, and they all thought they were cool and they weren't. They were just smelly bastards that looked identical, like they had no personality whatsoever. Well, yeah, he tried to sue a magazine for using his photo without his permission, and it wasn't even him. It's proved the point brilliantly. I think we mentioned that before, but I think it was well worthy of a repeat. Meanwhile, at a Tesla garage, someone's thoughtfully put on a lovely picture of Elon Musk doing his famous pose on all the chargers in the Tesla garage. And I do now call Teslas swastikars. I call them swastikars now. So when I'm doing my drives, I don't refer to them as Teslas anymore. I call them swastikars. It's just cooler, isn't it? I think you should go with that. Netflix. Now this is what I was talking about with Netflix. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all knife crime is performed by non-white people, but it does seem that the majority of crime when it's reported is from people who are non-white, yet the Netflix chose a white person, a young lad, who admittedly has got a lot of talent apparently, to do it. And it does, does question some of the stuff that's going on, but I think the point being made is more important than the colour of the skin of the actor. 78 views in 15 years, pack it up bro, says someone. Michael Jackson, Billie Jean official video, Michael Jackson, 7 billion views over 15 years ago. Yeah, someone can't distinguish between a B and an 8. So they think they've had 78 views and it's 7 billion views. So yeah, we'll park that one there, shall we? Oh, who put the car there? So there's a picture there of a sign saying, be warned, your car may be attacked by a bull or a cow, which is what the picture means. And then underneath is a picture of a cow with its head stuck in one of them little pedal cars that kiddies have, which over here are orange and red, or yellow and red, but this one's a green one for some reason. But it's in a field, so that's probably why it was green. But yeah, it did make me chuckle a little bit. Reese Witherspoon. Reese without a spoon. Scientists find a giant cloud of alcohol 1,000 times larger than our solar system. Okay, you're like, that sounds interesting. This would be roughly 23 sextillion cold refreshing beers, which is 23, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 zeros beers. So that's a lot of beers. To absorb this much, everyone would need to consume 300,000 litres of alcohol daily for 1 billion years. It's not going to happen, is it? Or just send it to Newcastle or Scotland. If you were 5 when Rock Lobster originally came out in 1978, you'd be 52 now. See what they did there? Rock Lobster was brought out by the B-52s. So if you were 5, you'd be 52 now. Yep, get it? No, yeah, no, yep, no, no, yep, no. Oh, I'm hungry. Could do with a sandwich. Oh no, some bloke got sandwiched on the M25 earlier. Picture of a car there between a Hovis lorry and a Kingsmill lorry. Yeah, not that kind of sandwich, thank you very much. Formula 1, perfect hoodie. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, practice qualifying race day. I can totally agree with that one. We mentioned Val Kilmer earlier on. 1959 to 2025. Veteran Hollywood actor Val Kilmer has died aged 65. Best known for his starring performance in Batman Forever and Top Gun, the movie star who was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014, died from pneumonia. Yeah, tragic case. It's always tragic when someone dies, and yeah, it was a bit of a shock. I basically picked my phone up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and for some reason I went onto Instagram and that popped up, so I actually screenshotted that then. Meanwhile, in Australia, logos banned on uniforms. Should logos be banned on Aussie school uniforms to help save parents money? From 2026, the Victorian government will ban logos on shorts, pants, skirts or socks in Victorian state schools to keep clothes affordable for families. I think ties and badges on upper clothes are fine, but when they start putting badges on trousers and, like you say, school shorts and things like that, I really don't get that. It was bad enough when my daughter was at school, but that was years ago. But yeah, I can imagine it's a lot more expensive nowadays because everything's badged up. And I think, yeah, even over here, just to save parents money, they should be able to buy black shorts or white shorts or skirts or whatever from wherever and not have logos on them, because it like triples the price. Phew, I'm glad April Fool's is over. Everything on the internet is true again. Yay! Oh, hang on a minute. I got a new kitten. Man, can it fart. Picture there of a baby skunk. We all know the hoo-ha going on over the new Snow White movie. Well, they've got another one coming out. This is Snow White and the 7 Goats. Obviously, it's an AI created meme, but it's very funny. Oh, Angela Rayner. Gob the Builder. Can she fix it? No, she can't. Gob the Builder. Can she fix it? Gob the Builder. No, she can't. The Wizard of Oz, 86 years old. If Dorothy were to encounter men with no brains, heart or courage, she wouldn't be in Oz. She'd be in DC, Washington, DC. Meanwhile, thanks T, Larry the Cat says, I apologise for the shit show that's been going on Larry the Cat outside number 10 Downing Street says, I apologise for the shit show that's been going on at my house. I don't even know who that is feeding me anymore. Catch some mice. That's what you're meant to do. That's what you paid for. Meanwhile, Elon Musk slammed by Flat Earth UFC fighter who claims space doesn't exist. I think he's been bashed around the head too many times. And Elon Musk, not enough times. The irony. Donald Trump reportedly says Elon Musk will step down from his role in US government soon. I saw a press conference, a live one, where President Trump was in the White House with some guy stood in a shiny suit that was in red, white and blue. It's very peculiar. And he basically said then that Elon Musk was going to be stepping down because he needs to concentrate on his company because it's going, well, it's in a shitstorm, isn't it, at the moment. Organisers of the annual New Year's Day swim were devastated when a huge turd washed up on the beach. The event was cancelled. And there's a picture there of Keir Starmer and his budgie smugglers. Huge turd washed up on the beach. What annoys me is when people use my body and put someone else's head on it. It's really, really annoying. Without my permission, I might sue like the hipster. 17 Tesla cars set on fire in Italian dealership as vandalism against Tesla spikes globally. An overnight fire at a Tesla dealership in Rome that destroyed 17 cars was an act of terrorism, the company billionaire owner Elon Musk said. Italy's Special Police Unit Digos is leading an investigation looking into the possibility that anarchists set fire to the cars on the eastern outskirts of the Italian capital, a security source said. Now, if they are eco people, then setting fire to electric cars is not a good thing because the chemicals that are in them cars going into the atmosphere is worse than a petrol car catching fire. Hashtag just saying. Japan estimates long-anticipated megaquake could cause $1.8 trillion in damage and kill 300,000 people. This is on a well-known, what's it called? A fault near China. Remember they had the earthquake that caused a tsunami a few years ago? Well, this could be considerably worse. Japan could lose as much as $1.8 trillion in the event of a long-anticipated megaquake, which could potentially kill about 300,000 people. Japan's government has previously said it sees about an 80% chance of a magnitude 8 to 9 earthquake along the Nankani Trough, a 900-kilometre undersea trough that has been the site of massive earthquakes in the recent past, i.e. the ones we were talking about. A bit like the big one in America that they're waiting for there as well. A lot more earthquakes going on around the world at the moment. I think what happens is, because we basically, think about it, the Earth, if you think about the Earth being a boiled egg, no, a semi-boiled egg, and then you crack the yolk, but you can move the shell around. No, you crack the shell and you can move it around a little bit, but it rubs against each other, and then it'll give. But that affects what's going on the other side because it's all fluid underneath. So that might cause something to rub together and cause an earthquake over there, and that's why we get clusters of earthquakes like this all the time. Meanwhile, National Railway Museum in New York has put a reminder up. The museum is closed from Wednesday the 19th of June until Friday the 21st of June for essential work. We look forward to welcoming visitors back at the weekend after the work is complete. And Sharon, not a Karen, a Sharon has said it's a replacement bus museum. Genius. Do like that. Very, very good indeed. Sorry, again my sense of humour. I'll get it completely. Viagra is set to return to Russia, but urologist says it won't work on Russian men. American company Viatras has filed an application with Ross Patent to register the Viagra trademark after the drug stopped appearing on Russian pharmacy shelves in 2023. It is a stiff problem. No, don't say that. Hidden sarcophagus discovered by scientists who found city beneath the pyramids. Just after the team reportedly discovered a vast city beneath the pyramids of Giza, they now say they have found a sarcophagus hidden below the surface. I mean, utter nonsense? April Fool? I don't know. Asda launches facial recognition in war on shoplifters and thugs in 5 stores. More than 1,400 incidents of assault took place against store colleagues in Asda last year, an average of 4 a day. So the shop is trialling live facial recognition to catch suspects. If you go into Asda in Wigan, the big one, when you walk in, you will see your face on the big screen with a square around it. That is facial recognition. It's been doing it for 18 months in Wigan, and they started doing it in Tesco as well now. A disabled man dies in blood and faeces covered flat after DWP cancelled the benefits. The 59-year-old man suffered from a slew of conditions including ME, fibromyalgia and diverticulitis. That meant he could only walk a few steps before falling over. The DWP took money off him, so he couldn't afford carers anymore, and he ended up dead. Well done. XL bully was shot 19 times due to its sheer size, as a man 84 tragically dies after a mauling. Armed police were called to Bardsley Avenue, Warrington, after the elderly man was left seriously injured in an attack which took place in the front garden of a property. Yeah, sadly, I think I don't blame the dog. I blame the people who own the dogs. I think any dog could be savage if it's not treated right. It's just that these XL bullies have got the muscle and the weight to actually cause tragedies like that. Meghan and Harry will hop on a plane to move from California, says astrologer. So it must be true then. It's 5 years since Prince Harry and Meghan stepped down from royal duties and moved across the pond, but an astrologer has delved into what the future could hold for them. Well, I would imagine divorce, and then maybe Harry coming back with his leg between his legs, his tail between his legs, and then in a few years everything will be forgotten and we'll move on. Primark boss steps down over inappropriate behaviour towards women. The Primark CEO Paul Merchant, who has been the boss of the clothing giant since 2009, has stepped down with immediate effect following investigation into the allegations. So another man in power taking advantage of the situation. Sadly, it happens too much. UK flood alerts soar despite spring heatwave as Brits prepare for hot weather. More than 69 flood warnings and alerts have been issued across the UK as Brits enjoy a prolonged period of spring sunshine. Cities in the path of possible flooding include Newcastle, Sunderland and Norwich. So it's the east of the country that's going to get hit. But this is the Star, and they come out with all these weather predictions that never seem to happen anyway. Cancer Cure Hope as boffins research millions of cancer-resistant people in the UK. Despite the fact that around 50% of people in the UK will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime, not everyone at high risk develops the disease. Researchers want to know why. So if I was one of those people who it got discovered couldn't develop cancer, I wouldn't want them dissecting me to find out why. I can do that when I die from a non-cancerous thing. That's what worries me about these things. Michelle Keegan shares a rare snaps of daughter celebrating her first Mother's Day. Michelle Keegan have delighted fans as they share adorable pictures of their newborn daughter Palmer as they celebrate their first Mother's Day as parents. I must admit, looking at that picture, she looks old for her age, doesn't she? She's only a few days old. Look at that. Quite impressive. God, don't they grow up quick? Mega-rich Russian oligarch dies in tragic shooting range accidents, aged 46. Pavel Brix, deputy of the Legislative Assembly of the Chernobylsk region of Russia, was checking to see if his gun was loaded when he seemingly fatally shot himself. I wonder if he criticised Putin any time recently or threatened to take his money away. Eating cheap junk food could actually stop us getting fat, scientists discover. Yeah, that's because it gives us the shit. So that's the answer to that one. Next. That's not what the scientists say, but well, yeah, whatever. Talking of which, virus outbreak on cruise as 200 passengers heading to UK hand over poo samples. The diarrhoea, vomiting and stomach pain causing illness is understood to have spread on the luxury cruise ship during the Caribbean leg of the tour as the Queen Mary 2 prepares to dock in the UK. Apparently, they're eating lots of chips and cheap processed food. Who knew? Asteroid feared would hit Earth may now obliterate the moon instead, claims NASA. NASA, who have been tracking the worrying asteroid hurtling towards through the universe, have given an update on its whereabouts and projections, with worries it could affect the moon. Yay! So instead of having one rocket in us, we could have the entire moon in pieces hitting us. Whoa, fantastic. Prince Andrew's sex abuse accuser suffered no injuries in a huge crash update. Virginia Giuffre, 41, who accused Prince Andrew of sex abuse, claimed in an Instagram post earlier that she had 4 days to live after she was hit by a bus with family members chiming support. Turns out there was no such thing happening. It was all fake news. Where's Donald Trump when you need him? Meanwhile, if you're a gamer and you're into the Switch, news that the Switch 2 is coming out sooner than you thought. There's Nintendo attempting to stop scalpers buying up all the new Switch 2 consoles. And what normally happens is console comes out, people buy tens of hundreds of them and then put them on eBay for 15 times the price. Bosses at Nintendo appear to be going to great lengths to stop scalpers, with extreme conditions being placed on anyone wishing to register to pre-order the new console. Mine would be you can only use one card per you can only get one console per online transaction and one card, and then if you use that card again, you don't get the console. Simple. Man in court after 35 bodies found during a grim funeral director's investigation. Robert Bush has been charged with 64 offences following complex, highly sensitive investigation into legacy independent funeral directors in Hull, East York. We looked at this at the time last year, but now he's appeared in court over it, which is horrific stuff going on. You're not buying another Switch, Angela? I don't blame you, to be fair. DWP booked profoundly deaf PIP claimant in for a phone interview, claims advisor. An almost 100% deaf man was scheduled to an audio-only phone interview as part of his PIP claim, despite depending on lip reading to communicate. I mean, you know, you just couldn't write this stuff, could you? Meanwhile, remember getting floods. Amber wildlife warning issued for most of England as temperatures hit 22 wildfire as temperatures hit 22 degrees centigrade. The Met Office has issued an amber wildfire warning for large parts of the UK as temperatures set to soar over 20 degrees this week, with fire service urging people to take care. Which is, yeah, blatantly obvious, isn't it? Epic 24-hour anti-Donald Trump speech declares not normal times rallying cry. US Senator Cory Booker has smashed the record with a 25-hour filibuster protesting Trump's policies and Congress inaction, becoming a symbol of resistance. He's lined himself up to be the next president, isn't he? See what he's doing there. Meanwhile, UK rocked by 57th earthquake of the year as seismic activity ramps up. Experts for the British Geological Society have recorded another earthquake in the United Kingdom, which will be the 57th to strike the country since the start of 2025. Now, they're only minor over here, but we may well get one that's actually significantly more, and that could be interesting to say the least. Bible proven true thanks to Jesus' ancestor in bombshell Armageddon evidence. A jaw-dropping new discovery at Tel Megiddo, the site of the apocalyptic clash of Armageddon, may support the biblical account of the death of King Josiah even, in an ancestor of Jesus. Or it might just be desperate people trying to get people convinced that the Bible actually did exist and Jesus exists and all that other nonsense. Anyway, that's the end of the fun news and lies. And it brings us to the rather exciting, are you ready for this? Breaking news. So this is news that's broken while we've been breaking the news. JCB to double US business as manufacturers urge Starmer to seize Brexit opportunity, which kind of makes sense. Eddie Gorman obituary. Terrorists linked to 7/7 bombings to be freed from jail despite remaining a risk. Britain's wokiest council tells staff to take white privilege test. Minister urges Unite to step up to reach agreement at Birmingham. They're running scared. Reforms bank banned from using three-word slogan as local election row starts. Is this the end of another Manchester restaurant? I think it's going to be more than one, sadly. The Australian Prime Minister falls off stage. Johnny Tillerson, a singer best known for his worldwide hit Poetry Munchen, has died. Starmer launches Labour's local election campaign with jibe at reform. Well, that's going to go down well, isn't it? Employees loaded up with business rates, say Shadow Chancellor. Yeah, well, business rates, my business rate's gone up 100%. Female fencer disqualified for refusing to face transgender appointments, saying this is a man, which he is correct. Owen Cooper, the actor who played the teenager in the Adolescence, says returning to school has been mad. He's become a celebrity, I would have thought. Asda introduced major changes to 5 Greater Manchester stores as bosses look at all odds. It's going very wrong for Asda at the minute. City destroying asteroid even bigger than we thought, say scientists. James Bond set for exotic new chapter as production gets underway in London. A let-be barrister says fresh evidence will completely demolish the case against her. Not sure about that. Prince Harry hopes the charity watchdog Cenobite probe will uncover blatant lies. US stock market plunges after Trump tariffs, with S&P 500 losing more than 4%. That's huge in the stock markets. FTSE's gone down, US dollar's gone down, the FTSE 300 has gone down, the FTSE 100 has gone down, the FTSE 250 has gone down. The FTSE Intel has gone down, the FTSE All Shares has gone down. Bitcoin's gone down. Ethereum has gone down, BNB has gone down, Cardino's gone down, XRP's gone down. We're talking multiple percents here. Great Britain and Euro has gone down. Great Britain US has gone up a little bit. Great Britain and Japan's gone down over 1%. Canada has gone down as well. Australian dollar has gone up. Lloyds Banking Group has plummeted 3.8%. Sealand Capital Glaxo Limited has gone down 13.5%. So yeah, the stock markets are absolutely in free fall. It doesn't sound a lot, but in the scheme of things, this is huge. And this is not even when the tariffs have actually started taking effect. Starmer's Farage-focused local election launch shows he knows reform is the real threat to Labour. Yep, a number of people I've spoken to. We can't vote in Wigan because it's there's no one up for re-election. It's nothing to do with Labour cancelling elections in Wigan. It's just there's no one up. Badenoch accused of being in the pay of climate deniers over net zero remarks. Trump tariffs in numbers, the biggest losers amid escalating US trade wars. No, I think that's it. I think that is the lot. New York Stock Exchange opens and immediately drops in wake of Trump tariffs. So yeah, it's going really well. Well done, Donald. It's got to be said. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. We love the Donald. Anyway, what are we on? I'm on the wrong page. That's what I'm on. There we go. So that is it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Angela, Calderdale, Top Cat, and everyone else who's watching, and T as well. It's all good. More people watch and listen to this when it's not live, to be fair. But it's just more convenient me doing it at this time on a Thursday. It frees up more time to do other stuff, which we'll start doing soon. And we've been on for an hour. Got through it all in an hour. Full disclosure, I forgot we were doing this today. I thought it was a different day. And at 6:30 I was still at work and not got anything prepared. So yeah, it's it's all good. Managed to get it done. Oh, yeah, I went to Tesco and it's just told me I've gone to Tesco. Brilliant. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. It's a bit of fun, serious stuff, but a bit of fun as well. Gotta have a laugh in these times, haven't we? Anyway, I will be seeing you until next time. The cat's too comfy. She's got a shoebox. She just lies in the shoebox, so she doesn't even come in when I do this anymore. But that's because she knows I'm leaving anyway.